Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel, and today we'll be reading scary stories to tell on the dog and some little mini stories inside of it. And if you want the book, you can just go look for it online, or you can just stay here and listen to me read the whole thing and sing some songs. And my brother would do the sound effects as well. So,
and we will dropping a new video every single day of how scary stories to tell in the dark.
We're just gonna be reading it since people don't really like.
Yeah. We're just gonna be reading it. So every day we're gonna be reading it to you guys. So yeah.
Okay, can we start now?
Yes.
One time a preacher went to see if he could put a haunt to rest at a house in his settlement. The house had been haunted for about 10 years. Several people had tried to stay there all night, but they always would get scared out by the haunt. So this preacher took his Bible and went to the house, went on in, built himself a good fire and lit a lamp. Sat there reading the Bible. Then just before midnight, he heard something startle up in the cellar, walking back and forth.
Heck no.
Then it sounded like somebody was trying to scream and got choked off. Then there was a lot of thrash around and struggling, and finally, everything got quiet. The old preacher took up his Bible again, but before he could start reading, he heard footsteps coming up the cellar stairs. He sat watching the door to the cellar, and the footsteps kept coming closer and closer. He set the doorknob turn, and when the door began to open, he jumped up and hollered, "What do you want?" The door shut back easily like that, and there wasn't a sound. The preacher was trembling like a little, but he finally opened the Bible and read again a while.
The Bible.
Then he got up and led the book on the chair and went to medding the fire. Then the haunt started walking again, and step up the cellar stairs. The old preacher sat watching the door, saw the doorknob turn, and the door opened. It looked like a young woman. He backed up and said, "Who are you? What do you want?" The haunted sort of swayed like she didn't know what to do. Then she just faded out.
Oh, hey, no.
The old preacher waited, and when he didn't hear any more noises, he went over and shut the door. He was sweating and trembling all over, but he was a brave man, and he thought he'd be able to see it through. So he turned his chair to where he could watch, and he sat down and waited. It wasn't long before he heard the haunt start up again, slowly, step, closer and closer, step, and it was right at the door. The preacher stood up and held his Bible out before him. Then the doorknob slowly turned, and the door opened wide. This time the preacher spoke quietly like he said, "In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, who are you, and what do you want?" The haunt came right across the room, straight to him, and took hold of his coat. It was a young woman, about 20 years old. Her hair was torn and tangled, and the flesh was dropping off her face, so he could see the bones and parts of her teeth. She had no eyeballs, but there was a sort of blue light way back in her eye sockets, and she had no nose to her face.
Oh, heck no.
She started talking. It sounded like her voice was coming and going with the wind blowing it.
Heck no.
She told how her lover had killed her for her money and buried her in the cellar. She said if the preacher could dig up her bones and bury her properly, she could rest. Then she told him to take the end joint of the little finger from her left hand and to lay it in the collection
Oh, heck no.
plate at the next church meeting, and he'd find out who had murdered her. And she said, if you come back here once more after that, you'll hear my voice at midnight, and I'll tell you where my money is hid, and you can give it to the church. The haunt sobbed like she was tired, and she sunk down towards the floor and was gone. The preacher found her bones and buried them in the graveyard. The next Sunday, the preacher put the finger bone in the collection plate, and when a certain man happened to touch it, it stuck to his hand. The man jumped up and rubbed and scratched it and tore at the bone, trying to get it off. Then he went to screaming like he was going crazy. Well, he confessed to the murder, and they took him to jail. After the man was hung, the preacher went back to that house one midnight, and the haunt voice told him to dig under the hot rock. He did, and he found a big sack of money. And when the haunt had held on to his coat, the print of those bony fingers was burned right into the clothes. It never did come out.
Oh, heck no, boy.
So the next one we're going to be reading is, let's say my favorite one of all time.
Yeah, well, by the way, guys, we're not going in order. I'm going with my sister's order.
Okay?
Yeah, tomorrow we might actually not doing it because we're going to the movies to see
The Big Toe. The Big Toe. A boy was digging at the edge of the garden when he saw a big toe. He tried to pick it up, but it was stuck to something, so he gave it a good hard jerk, and it came off in his hand. Then he heard something groan and scampered away. The boy took the toe into the kitchen and showed it to his mother. It looks nice and plump, she said. I'll put it in the soup and we'll have it for supper.
Oh my God.
That night, his father carved the toe into 3 pieces,
No.
and they each had a piece.
No.
Then they did the dishes, and when it got dark, they went to bed. The boy fell asleep almost at once, but in the middle of the night, a sound awakened him. It was something out in the street. It was a voice, and it was calling to him. Where was my toe? It groaned. When the boy heard that, he got very scared, but he thought, it doesn't know where I am, and never will find me. Then he heard the voice once more, only now it was closer. Where is my toe? It groaned. The boy pulled the blanket over his head and closed his eyes. I'll go to sleep, he thought. When I wake up, it will be gone. But soon he heard the back door open, and again he heard the voice. Where's my toe? It groaned. Then the boy heard footsteps moving through the kitchen, into the dining room, into the living room, into the front hall. Then slowly they climbed the stairs. Closer and closer they came. Soon they were in the upstairs hall. Now they were outside his door. Where is my toe? The voice groaned. His door opened. Shaking with fear, he listens as the footsteps slowly move through the dark toward his bed. Then they stopped. Where was my toe? The voice groaned. You've got it! But there's a different part of the story. There's another big ending to the big toe. When the boy hears the voice calling for its toe, he finally finds a strange-looking creature up inside the chimney. The boy is so frightened he can't move. He just stands there and stares at it. Finally, he asks, "What you got such big eyes for?" And the creature answers, "To look you through and through." What you got such big claws for?" "To scratch up your grave." What you got such a big mouth for?" "To swallow you whole." What you got such sharp teeth for?" "To chomp your bones."
Oh, heck no.
Now we're gonna read my other favorite, The Walk. But this time, Dijon,
What?
there's nothing going to be like, no sound effects, okay? So you just gotta shut up and stop eating that hot dog, okay?
Okay.
Stop, I said. Okay? Or you're not gonna be in another video.
Okay. You still need me for the sound effects.
No, I don't. I can make my own sound effects. Now go.
While you're reading?
The Walk. My uncle was walking down a lonely dirt road one day. He came upon a man who also was walking down that road. The man looked at my uncle, and my uncle looked at the man. The man was scared of my uncle, and my uncle was scared of the man. But they kept on walking, and it began to get dark. The man looked at my uncle, and my uncle looked at the man. The man was very scared of my uncle, and my uncle was very scared of the man. But they kept on walking, and they came to a big woods. It was getting darker, and the man looked at my uncle, and my uncle looked at the man. The man was really scared of my uncle, and my uncle was really scared of the man. But they kept on walking, and deeper down into the woods they went. It was getting darker, and the man looked at my uncle, and my uncle looked at the man. The man was terribly scared of my uncle, and my uncle was terribly scared of my... What do you come for? This is another story that does not need Junjun in it, so stop playing with Legos and stop eating food.
I can't resist, you know it's right.
What do you come for? There was an old lady who lived all by herself, and she was very lonely, sitting in the kitchen one night. She said, "Oh, I wish I had some company." No sooner had she spoken than down the chimney tumbled 2 feet, from which the flesh had rotted. The old woman's eyes boggled with terror. Then 2 legs dropped to the hearth and attached themselves to the feet. Then a body tumbled down, then 2 arms and a man's head. As the old woman watched, the parts came together into a great yaggling man. The man danced